This MOOPIL series of Texas A&M University is provided through Project LISTO. Literacy-infused science using technology innovation opportunities. The video series is comprised of experts in the field talking about their research while making important contributions to the art of teaching in the K-12 environment. Project LISTO is funded through a competitive I-3 grant from the U.S. Department of Education Investing in Innovation program. The LISTO project is a collaboration among the Center for Research and Development in Dual Language and Literacy Acquisition, Education Leadership Research Center, and Aggie STEM.
Howdy, I'm Tugba Oner, an assistant professor at Istanbul Medeniyet University. I, as a faculty member of Mathematics Education Department, attended several seminars in here, Turkey, and I would like to share my experiences with you. These seminars were sometimes part of professional development for teachers and most of the times academic topics for high school students to promote STEM education. At the schools that I visited, most of the students have never heard about STEM education. So, I usually started with how STEM arose, what STEM education is, why there was a need to come up with an acronym called STEM while these 4 disciplines were already well known and important, and why there is a need for STEM education starting from kindergarten through higher education. The answer of these questions are obviously informative, but as most teachers know, would students really like to listen to someone who talks about background information of a concept like a theoretical part or framework of it? Not really. Because I know this kind of seminar will not be intriguing one for students, what I usually do is to give them a glimpse of what would a STEM project be like. Because in that way, they would actually experience it, involving hands-on activities, so STEM project type of activity would grab their attention. I started with background information of STEM education and mentioned about engineering design process. I definitely went through 7 stages and explained these stages in detail before starting with problem. It will be unfair to say what we did was a fully STEM project, but it gives a meaning to what I introduced them and at least lets them experience it. The problem was called Bucket Tower Challenge. You might already heard about it or even tried it. I believe this activity could be a suitable STEM PBL for elementary and middle school students in the classroom environment. However, for high schoolers who have never involved in STEM projects and mostly studied academic subjects without hands-on activities, this was a fun activity. The smallest group was about 50 students, and I requested them to be a group of 4. The aim was to build a portable tower that can carry a bucket with the heaviest load. However, of course, there were some constraints: number of straws, the length of tape and string, not sticking or attaching the bucket to the structure. I want to share my observations. First, they did not think about the problem enough to determine. Second, they did not discuss sufficiently constraints, because most of them forgot what they can use when they start building. When I asked them to discuss their idea and prepare the very initial sketch of the structure, most of them did not even draw or were shy to draw their design. I encouraged them to draw it because that will be the most convenient way for me to understand what is their understanding, their design, and whether they paid attention to constraints. After a while, most of them did a quick sketch of their design or explained their plan to me. When it was time to start building, they did not even realize that they attached the bucket to the structure. So, they had to go back and redesign the structure. At the end, almost 70% of groups were able to finish bucket tower and ready to load it. As a result, the activity was fun, but were they really aware of what disciplines integrated in this activity? What topics in these disciplines were actually covered and play a role? Did they really think about these concepts and work through channels? These are the questions we, as educators, need answers. From my experience, I can tell you, unfortunately they were not. But after giving them enough time to think, and with some hints, Newton's first law of motion, balanced and unbalanced forces, equilibrium, vectors, these concepts were raised. One important stage of engineering design process, which is research, was missing in my experience. I think this part is crucial for students to realize what concepts lie under these types of challenges, activities, projects. This is very essential because students' deep understanding of mathematics or science concepts or standards should be the goal of projects rather than using a discipline due to its convenience of implementation in another discipline or as a part of its application. These are important as well, but first, students need to comprehend the core of it. If you are planning to involve students in interwoven structure of disciplines and a real-life situation, be prepared to encounter struggles that I had. But by the time when students get used to perform projects, it will be their time to enjoy from struggling to construct a product and have a meaningful understanding of a concept.